Hey, what is going on, everybody? Back with another dose of economic reality. Yes, it is Monday. It's Labor Day. Hope everyone is off of work and relaxing today. I'm off of work. Happy Labor Day out there. We got a lot of news to get into. We want to talk about housing today. We want to talk about the banking system, and we want to get some perspective on some middle class people here that are just trying to make it through this economy, right? So, hope you're doing well. Um, the economy still looks normal on the surface. I mean, I was out in La Jolla today and I did it again. I forgot to take off my sunglasses. You can kind of see the little thing going on here. It was kind of sunny, but kind of overcast. So a pretty nice day in La Jolla. People were out shopping. Everything looks normal on the surface. Now, if you can not focus on the tent cities and all the new homeless tents popping up everywhere, then things look really normal. But behind the surface, we know this is all propped up on lending and the bank's ability to loan out money that they don't have. And remember 2008, the financial crisis, that was kicked off only when the banks really pulled back on the lending. Remember, it started with the mortgage crisis with the subprime loans. And at first, the banks pulled back on lending and it was really hard to borrow money. And that really, tanked the economy, right? Because when people can't borrow money, that's when things really freeze up and then you see job losses accelerate. Right now, we see job losses, layoffs, and banks haven't really pulled back on the lending. In fact, you can argue that borrowing money recently has become much easier. Look at the 1% mortgages from Zillow, and home prices continue to stay stubbornly high. It's no secret, right? Because people can still get money and take out huge loans with only a 1% down payment. Remember back in before the housing bubble went bust in 2008, the low down payment option was FHA for the most part. Now we have 1% mortgages that are very, very prevalent now, right? So just one example of how easy money and borrowing can keep a bubble that should have burst a long time ago, really hyper inflated. And that just goes for not just for housing, but for the rest of the economy. When people can continually borrow money, the economy is going to keep rolling along. It just means that people are carrying more debt, people are more stressed out, people are having to work longer hours and work harder, but things will look pretty normal on the surface, right? Until something implodes or something snaps or breaks, so to speak, to prevent all the banks from loaning out money, to prevent people from borrowing money. And I'll give you another example. I work in the financial sector, and I have clients that file bankruptcy. And just a month or two later, after filing bankruptcy, they're running up more debt. Right? Credit card companies are letting these people use their credit cards and giving them credit lines, even though they just filed bankruptcy. Right? So just one example of how this system of money, where you can create money out of nothing, this system of money, just keeps these bubbles inflated. It keeps prices high. The Fed's out there pretending to fight inflation with raising rates. If they really wanted to fight inflation, they would stop the money loaning frenzy, which is happening, right? The lending frenzy. And you can only do that when you put restrictions on banks or go back to real money, which I've advocated here for a long time. And I think eventually that's where we're going to go back to. But let's get into some news today. I just wanted to kind of give you just kind of a briefing on what we're seeing just in general on how this economy is still functioning, even though there's so much debt out there. All right, before we get started on the news, though, let me play this quick clip. I'm kind of embarrassed to say I spent $60 on hamburgers. And this is a place called Five Guys Burgers. And I showed the receipt in this clip. I think I put it out on a short video, but not too many of you people saw that. It didn't get very many views. So let me play it real quick here. All right, here it is for those that haven't seen it. This is me at a burger place, and I show the receipt at the end. If you've seen it, then maybe just fast forward. It's about 45 seconds to a minute. Hey, what's happening, everybody? I'm here at Five Guys Burgers, and I just ordered 4 burgers and fries, and it was $60. Inflation, 2023. I scroll down to the bottom of the receipt there. Yeah, $60, man. I left like a dollar tip because they didn't really. I mean, they don't go out to your table. They don't go back and forth from the kitchen to the table. They just serve it to you like a fast food place. And they still ask for a tip even after that. So it wasn't even, it was 4 burgers. Was it 4 or 5? Yeah, because my 2 little ones split 1 burger. Yeah, so just 4 burgers. And it wasn't even fries for everybody. It was like 1 medium size fry, and over $60, right? Pretty crazy. Some people say that's just 5 burgers. They've always been expensive. Um, in fairness and full disclosure, they do give you double patties, right? These are double burgers. They're pretty big. I think it's more shocking to me just because I don't really go to burger places a lot. So to spend that much for me was kind of a shocker, especially just on burgers. Now, if it's a dinner, fancy dinner, and you're getting steaks or whatnot, $60, no big deal, even for 2 people. But for burgers, I just thought that was kind of crazy. All right, so we're seeing some signs of distress in the economy. One of those signs is falling rents. In fact, rents fell in August for the first time in 6 years. For the first time in 6 years. And let's go ahead and bring up a chart on this one here so we can look at it. And Apartment List gives us this data each month. And this goes back to 2018. And so technically, yeah, it's 6 years. Let's see here if you count 2018 and this year. Up 0.2% in 2018. They were up 0.1% August 2019. August 2020 up 0.3%. August 2021, that was a huge one. Let me scroll up a little bit on that one. Up 2.6% in 2021. Even last August, August 2022, they were still up 0.3%. This August, down 0.1%. Now, it's not a lot. It's not a big drop, and it's barely going to be noticeable. But the fact that we're down now for the first time in 6 years in the month of August is something to take notice of. And we have over 40 million students now that are going to be having to repay their student loans unless they flip the switch on that or reverse that. But as of now, it's still scheduled to happen starting in October. That's next month, folks. Right. So I think some big sparks are going to be flying here as far as price corrections and maybe bigger corrections in rents when a lot of these people or students have to move back with their parents. So maybe head on over to Apartment List if you want to read more into that. A lot of people are feeling the stress, feeling the strain right now, and they feel like they've just got to work a lot. I know a lot of people that are stressed out, people that are burned out, people that are just really tired, more chronic fatigue, people just feeling tired all the time, burned out, stressed out. I think just from working too much, even if you're not working a lot of overtime, I think just the stress of the cost of living right now and inflation is really getting to a lot of people. And we're going to hear from a couple people here later on in this video to kind of give you perspective on just the word on the street out here and how do the student loan payments, how do they affect housing? Well, there's an article out here, Business Insider, the current administration, they're giving people $10,000. If you make under 125,000, you're going to get 10,000 knocked off your student loan. The housing market is about to take a hit as student loan payments restart, is what's being reported out of Business Insider. And that's why we keep an eye on rents, right? Rents are a sign of monthly cash flow, not how much money people can borrow, not people running up credit cards, because most people aren't paying their rent on credit cards. Rents, that's why we keep an eye on them. Rents are dropping. I think rents are going to drop even bigger now with the resumption of these student loan payments. So I think we're going to see some interesting numbers come out next month in October and rounding out the year in November, December. And then when rents fall, then more people decide to sell their home because they see how much cheaper it is to rent and they want to maybe take advantage of any equity they have. Hopefully they have equity. People that bought in the past year, a lot of them don't have any equity, especially in some of the bigger city markets. But yeah, that incentivizes sellers, homeowners to sell because when you can rent for a lot cheaper than what it is you're paying on mortgage, you can see yourself saving more money each month with lower housing costs. So then more people put their home on the market, then the housing market starts to weaken. You see what I'm saying here? So one affects the other. Rents affect mortgages. So we're going to keep an eye on that for you here. Now let's go ahead and switch gears a little bit here. Here's some good news, I guess, if you're living in Florida and you have students in school. This is out of St. Petersburg here. Florida school vouchers can pay for televisions, kayaks, and theme parks. Wow, that's pretty nice. Let's see, theme park passes. If I could talk here, 55-inch TVs, stand-up paddleboards are among the approved items that receipts can buy to use at home. The purchases can be made by parents who homeschool their children or send them to private schools if any voucher money remains after paying tuition and fees. Here's where it gets interesting. By comparison, teachers who want some of the same items for their classroom would have to pay out of pocket or turn to other fundraising sources such as GoFundMe because schools won't pay for them. Actually, being a teacher seems like a tough occupation. I've spoken with a couple teachers over the years, probably more than a couple, that said they had to come out of pocket personally for certain items in the classroom because the school didn't pay for certain items or didn't give them enough to get all the items they needed. So shout out to all the teachers out there. I know a lot of you work really hard and sometimes put even your own financing into your class. All right, shifting gears once more. Homelessness, high home prices, high rents, rise in homelessness, of course. But now it's not just the big cities. A Montana town faces a homeless problem similar to San Francisco and LA. We told you this was going to spill out into different cities, not just the major, metropolitan areas. Missoula, Montana, the city boasts more than 400 acres of parks, many of which line the roaring Clark Fork River. Recently, they've become full of homeless people. Wow, homeless living in a camper down by the river. Is that what it goes? No, a van. Living in a van down by the river, living in a tent down by the river. 600 people without homes live in northern Rockies College Town, triple the number of a decade ago. So, in a decade, the number of homeless people has approximately tripled in Missoula, Montana. And the winters up there are brutal. I don't know where these people are going in the wintertime to stay alive. It's a pretty scary thought there. And let's see this article here. This is the journal here, Wall Street Journal. They give us a photo of what looks to be some of the homeless people, where they're all dressed in orange. Are these volunteers? Maybe it's just that guy's homeless. Anyways, and we've got somebody out here with this dog. Pretty sad scene. Anytime I see this, it's always kind of sad. All right, on the topic here of consumer spending, have you guys heard about this? Burger King being sued because their picture on their menu of their Whopper does not look like the actual Whopper. So here's the menu picture on the left. Basically, it's bulging with savory um, looking food, and the meat actually sticks out past the bun. You get the real Whopper, and this is pretty much how it looks. Now, part of this is the camera, right? I think this was a better camera. Maybe the lighting was better. But yeah, I mean, the items never really look like they do on the menu. So are you really going to sue the restaurant because of it? Well, yeah, that's what you do nowadays. If you spill a hot drink on yourself, and I'd have to guess pretty much every menu item on the picture is not going to look like it is when you get it, the actual item. So will this open up the door to a bunch of other lawsuits? And will the plaintiff win this lawsuit? If they do, it's going to be pretty wild because there's going to be a lot of other copycat lawsuits. Because if you look at the commercials, if you look at the pictures on the menus and the billboards, again, the food never comes out looking like it does in the advertisements. Can people just leave Burger King alone? I actually like Burger King compared to McDonald's. I don't really eat there that much, but compared to McDonald's, I have to say I like Burger King a lot better. And with the cost of living where it is right now, we have more of this here. Here's something out of the mail. These people just casually go in and steal $5,000 worth of power tools from here, from California, Home Depot, and they weren't shy about the cameras. People were just filming them as they went ahead and got these items on super sale, like 100% off super sale. And it continues because California, we're crazy out here. Are there going to be any businesses left in California? Is the question. Or will they finally allow stores to stop these people, to hire security to stop these people? Right now, the stores are instructed not to mess with these people because they're not going to get prosecuted for one, because it's less than $950. I believe that's the threshold. And it's just crazy. I mean, where does it end? People say the prisons, the jails are too full to enforce all of these thieves because there's not enough room. All right, let's hear from somebody else here on the street on the topic of the cost of living, inflation, and specifically rents. Take a listen.
Guys, I don't know how the average American is making it right now because from the looks of it, things are just going to hell.
No, I'm not related to this guy. he looks like me a little bit, right?
For example, if you want to rent an apartment, the landlord wants proof of income 3 times the rent. And out here in northern New Jersey, that means a 1 bedroom, you got to be making 30 to 50% more than the national average. Groceries have gone up like crazy. It's like, it seems like it keeps creeping up ever so slightly, but after 3 4 months you feel like it's a you feel the increase. Because last year I would be shopping for myself alone twice a week and it would run me about $80 each trip. Now it's costing me like 125 to 140 per trip. And when I include going out maybe once or twice a week to eat, my total for food is coming out to be crazy. It's over $1,000. And I know it wasn't like that growing up. It's gotten out of hand. But people are
Wow, single person, $1,000 food bill. That's pretty wild.
walking around like nothing's wrong. Everything is fine. Everything is dandy. But it won't be long before people are gonna have to decide whether to pay the rent, pay the mortgage, or feed their families. And of course, people are gonna choose to feed their families. And so, who knows what's gonna happen? But I was at the mall the other day and it was pretty packed. But there wasn't really that many people holding bags. It was just people hanging around window shopping, which doesn't mean squat. It just means people want to get out of their houses and hang around, maybe eat at the food court. And that the food court was popping, of course. But we're going to have to wait and see. I foresee a lot of a lot more shoplifting, a lot of stores going out of business because of that, and there's going to be a lot of break-ins, a lot of cars being stolen, a lot of parts being stolen, wheels, catalytic converters, which is already happening, but it's gonna you know, more and more people are gonna want to do it because they have no other way. More and more people are gonna turn to scamming and stealing and all that stuff because things have gotten so expensive. So we'll see. What's the solution? The only solution is for the banks and the Federal Reserve to forgive all debt. That's the only way. There's no other solution. Even if we took 20 nations to war and gave them money to buy from us, it still wouldn't help the situation.
Okay, folks, I got to disagree with him on the end. I mean, he makes a lot of valid observations, but forgiving everyone's debt, that's going to make people go out and even spend more and make prices go up even more, right? So if you forgive people's debt, they're going to feel like they were born again and they're going to go, I think, on a spending spree. So I think that would make the problem a lot worse. So I'm not saying the problem is bury people under more debt, but I think it all goes back, to the system of money that we have, in this country, and the bank's ability to just loan out money that they don't have. Right? That's huge. That's huge. And when people can spend money they don't have, when banks loan money they don't have, you're going to have problems like this. Remember, back in 2008, the financial crisis didn't begin until banks pulled back on the lending. It was very difficult to get a mortgage. Credit card companies were cutting credit limits, right? Drastic measures took place. Now we're just not seeing that. It's money unleashed. Unleashed. The debt ceiling has been completely eliminated. There is no longer a debt ceiling all the way until the end of 2024, right? So wild times, right? So I want to make a quick announcement here because I've been playing video clips of people. I want to hear from you, my audience. If you put something out on social media, or even if you have a YouTube channel and you talk about the economy and maybe you want to just do like a brief 1 minute video, send me a link. And if it's like a big long video, send me the link and then tell me like what mark in the video to play, like what minute mark, 1 to 2 minutes, where you want to put your thoughts out there. So I'll give a link or just put it down in the comments, and then if I play your video talking about the economy, rents, whatever, cost of living, as long as it's financial or economic related, I can play it here. And as long as you give me permission, post it down there, and I'll see if I can fit it into some of these videos. Kind of like the clips, we've been playing just from people talking about rents, the cost of living, the economy, what's happening with prices. And, this is a good way for me to, I think, engage the audience here even more. And if you don't have a channel, maybe start a channel and just start talking about these things. And then maybe we can help each other out. I can play your clips, send you some people to your channel, and you can help me out by giving me some content. And I really enjoy hearing from you, just reading your comments, having you on video talking about what you're seeing out there, it'd be even better, right? So hope everybody liked this report, and post your links down below if you have any content out there. If you post shorts, that would be even better. That way it's just going to be a minute or so. And everybody, what do you think about today's report? The falling rents. August rents fell for the first time in 6 years. We're starting to see the tide turn a little bit, right? Slow motion economic collapse. Could we wake up one morning, everything has imploded? The banks finally failed because somebody didn't hit the printer button as fast as they should have. Who knows? War, blackouts. There could be a lot of monkey wrenches out there, but until that happens, slow motion economic collapse. Everybody, keep preparing. Have 30 days emergency expensive out of the banks, out of the system here. At least 30 days. Food, essential, survival items, etc. Because something big could be around the corner. Otherwise, keep on stacking, as we say every time here. Hope you guys like this report. Big love, everybody. Bye for now. Peace.